So what does a wife get a husband that has everything? Well, of course, a NASCAR driving experience, right? Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. So today is going to be a little bit of a different vlog. We're not going to talk photo and video. I'm going to take you on an adventure that I just had a couple of weeks back. So I hope you enjoy it. Now, like I said, my wife ended up buying me this NASCAR driving experience, all right? I think Rusty Wallace team puts it together, and they go track to track to track, and they allow people to drive the NASCARs. And wow. Anyways, let me start out with, I ended up having this down at the Homestead Speedway, Homestead Miami Speedway. Now, I'm literally halfway in between the Daytona International Speedway and Miami. So we ended up getting the Miami track time. So once we get there, we have to go through security because we're not sitting or going to the outskirts where all of the fans or all the viewers would be. We're going onto the infield. So you have to go through security, then you go underneath like tunnels. We end up on the inner portion, okay? And I let my wife go to go do her thing along with my film crew, which is my son, and they're going to go scout out the place to see where would be a good vantage point to take some photos and whatnot. And for me, I ended up having to go to a driver's meeting. Now, this driver's meeting is more of like a learning session than just a simple driver's meeting that I've had many times in the past, just doing racing in general. It was actually a learning, almost like a course for 1 full hour. And it covered basically all of the features of the car, all of your safety stuff, as well as, for example, passing, how to be passed, how to enter, how to get onto the oval, how to get off of the oval, how to approach your comms, who, you're listening to your spotter, and of course, the most important thing, safety. So they start out with the Hans device. Now, if you guys know what a Hans device is, it's basically this neck contraption that holds your neck in place and it straps you to the back of your seat. So you're strapped to the car. You cannot move left, right, up, down, forward, nothing. You're strapped in. Now that is one of these devices that actually came out, I think, in the late 90s. And it was kind of made famous, or a lot of people talked about it after the fact, when Dale Earnhardt ended up dying just horribly by hitting the wall. Now, Dale Earnhardt was notorious for not wearing it because it felt like it was too enclosing. It just didn't give him the movement, the freedom of movement that he wanted in the car. So he ended up passing away from hitting the wall. He was in 2001. Anyways, the Hans device is one of those devices that they talk about and how to release yourself from it, because you need to be able to do that. Also, the 5-point harness that they stick you in. They talk about that and how to get out of that. The quick release on the steering wheel. You need to be able to put the steering wheel on and pop it off. Strange thing is, the steering wheel is literally this big. It looks like a go-kart steering wheel. I didn't even know that. When you look at NASCAR, you're like, well, they look like normal, but they're not. They're little. Anyways, also the window net, right? For debris from flying in, you need to be able to take that window net on and off. And finally, your earpieces. So you know how to put them in and how to make sure that they're in the right spot so you can hear your spotter. Your spotter is your eyes. They are seeing everything for you, all right? If without your spotter, you don't know where you are. I'll get into that later. So after he explains to you how to take this stuff off, he said basically in case of a fire, let's say if you get into an accident, you hit a wall or you hit into somebody and there's a fire, all right? We have crew stationed all over the track, but the amount of time it takes to get crew to get from their location to you up on the oval, let's say in turn 1, all right, might take 30 seconds or 20 seconds. And at that point, you might burn to death. I'm like, Jesus, really? You're going to burn to death. So, I mean, he was very emphatic about it. And I can see, rightfully so. I mean, it makes sense. That is something that would be mission critical, is to be able to get out of these cars and get out of them quickly. One of the guys that heard this, he's like, so how often is there accidents, right? A good question, right? I should have asked it. So the instructor said, once a day. I'm like, once a day? I was thinking like once a month, once a year. I thought it's safe, once a day. He's like, yeah, there's always like that guy, just pissing adrenaline that is going in thinking that he's Dale Jarrett or he's like, Earnhardt or he's Jeff Gordon or somebody, and he's heading into the turns too fast. He doesn't lift and he puts it into the wall or he puts it into someone. There's always these guys. So it happens all the time. I'm like, damn, I'm glad I got insurance. Guys, if you ever do this, buy the insurance. It's literally like 75 or $100. If you do hit something or someone hits you, it's $1,000 deductible before you leave. That's not bad, guys. It's not bad. If you don't have insurance, it's $15,000 before you leave. $15,000, guys. So get the insurance. Get the insurance. So we get out of the driver's meeting and we head over to the track where there's someone waiting to fit us for helmets and our fire retardant suits and all the rest of the stuff that we need before we get into the cars. So now the car is selected and I get into the car where a crew member comes up to now get me all situated. Now this is the point, guys. If any of you are claustrophobic, you will lose your okay? You will lose it because it is hot. You're stuck in there, you cannot move at all, and now you start cramping because everything is just, you can't move. Now, you need to put yourself in the Zen place, all right? You need to be able to breathe and relax because you're stuck. You're not moving, you are locked in there until we start going. There's no air, there's no movement, there's no nothing. That's all you hear is the engines around you. Once he tells you to start it up, you push the button, it lights up, and the car is just, it sounds like an earthquake, guys. Now you start going and you can hear your spotter in your ears telling you to approach, where to stop and wait before you can get onto that apron to start accelerating to be able to get onto the track. Tells me to go. I start proceeding. I'm by like third gear by the time I'm at the apex of the apron, and now I'm just about ready to go onto the track between turn 2 and turn 3. At that point, you're in fourth gear, full throttle, absolutely to the floorboard. And of course, when you're getting on, most of the time people are passing you, and that's exactly what happened. Finally hit turn 4, and then wrap back around onto the straightaway. Now guys, this experience is just, I can't really explain it because now remember, these are NASCARs. They might be last year's models, but they are NASCARs that will do 150 plus miles per hour. And there's no pace car that we're following. You're going to be passed and you're going to pass people. And there's 10 or 15 other people out there. So you need to be careful. So you're on it and you are just full throttle on those straightaways and lifting where you're supposed to be lifting, going into turn 1, and now you're on that accelerator again coming out of turn 2 to get back on the back straight. So there's a lot going on. Now, think about this, guys. You're in this car doing 140, 150 miles per hour, and there's no mirrors. You cannot see anything. You're relying on your spotter. So one of the things that they talked about in the driver's meeting is your spotter. And if you can't hear your spotter for 2 laps, you need to pull in, okay, because there's something wrong with your comms. Now, after going around this track for about, I want to say about 7 laps, you're not counting, but let's say about 7 laps, all of a sudden, I no longer could hear my spotter. And what I was hearing was like this squelching sound, like this type of thing. Guys, bear in mind, if you lose your comms and you can't hear your spotter, the feeling is like being, let's say, in outer space. You're in this vacuum. You have this tunnel vision. You don't know what's going on to the side of you, behind you, anywhere around you. You don't know if someone's going to hit you from behind. You don't know if someone's trying to pass you, but you can't hear to be able to pull in a little bit to go left. It is absolutely the worst feeling that you'll ever have, all right? It was very, very disconcerting, let's just say. Very disconcerting. But anyways, after about 10 laps, I hear him. He comes back. Now, I'm supposed to be getting off on lap 10. I end up missing the off because I didn't hear him. Finally, I hear him, and he comes live on there with, "Get off the track. You need to be off the track. They're going to fine you if you don't get off the track." I'm like, they're going to fine me? What? What are you talking about? It's because of safety. You get your 10 laps, you need to get off. They need to have the certain number of cars on there. If not, you end up getting fined. I didn't hear the guy. So I ended up taking one full rotation, lap 11 now, right, on the apron all the way around before I got off. It happens, right? It happens. So we pull back in, they disconnect that GoPro that they had on the top of the car, and I ended up getting that footage, which is what you're seeing now. It's just awesome. And we get out of the car, and I swear you're shaking, all right? Because you are just in it, okay? Your adrenaline is on absolutely just max, and you're just like shaking. It's just absolutely an amazing, amazing experience. I would say if you've never done anything like this before, it is definitely worth doing. If you like adrenaline rushes, if you like speed, if you enjoy watching car races, I don't care what kind of car race it is, this experience is by far the coolest. I've done the supercars, the exotics, and all that kind of stuff. No comparison to this experience, all right? No comparison at all. The only thing that I'd like to say to the Rusty Wallace people, what they need to do is they need to have backup on those comms. Just like in the actual NASCAR, they need to have two boxes, okay? You need to be able to flip a switch, flip over to another radio so you can hear them, because that is a safety issue, number one. And number two, bi-directional communication would be great. Right now, you're only getting the communication from your spotter. You can't talk back to the spotter. That is an issue. That kind of makes things a little bit more difficult. Anyways, bottom line, amazing, amazing experience. I want to thank my film crew, Alex, my son, and my wife for buying this experience for me. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you guys for watching it and joining me on this little adventure that I had. So that's it, guys. The next vlog will be back to photography and videography and whatnot. But as I always say, if you enjoy my content, please throw me a big thumbs up. That would be stellar. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you can get all my content when it becomes available. And don't forget to click the little notification icon so when it does become available, you will be notified. And finally, head over to my website, jakechristina.com, where you can find a lot of photography tools I invented for you and me over the years. And maybe there's something there that you might like. If there is, please pick it up and support me. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Hey, guys, one more thing. The merch, guys. Don't forget, if you ever do something like this, you gotta buy the merch. You gotta spend the extra money, right? There it is. We'll see you later, guys.